Hello, and we're back in the series, Can We Just Get Along? Today we're going to talk a little bit about envy and jealousy. Everybody goes through envy or jealousy at some point in their lives. And how do we combat it? How do we come against it? Well, first let's talk a little bit about what envy is and what jealousy is, because it's two different things. Sometimes we use it interchangeably, but it really is two different things. So in a nutshell, envy is something that we feel towards others and that others may feel towards us. This is in a place when a person is dissatisfied with their present portion or present situation or present share, and ultimately what the Lord is saying for them at this time. Sometimes we're going through a season where we have everything, and then sometimes we go through a season when we don't. But both seasons is a God-ordained season. But what happens when we're not satisfied and we're not in agreement with God concerning that situation? We tend to look towards others. We tend to look at others and what they have, and we become envious. The most simplest form of this is looking at a cell phone. You have a cell phone, it works, it's wonderful. But as soon as you see someone with a brand new cell phone, somehow you become dissatisfied with your own. And what happens? You end up buying another phone, and more than likely you'll use your bill money to do it. But that's what envy is in its most simplest form. Jealousy occurs, though, when someone is receiving something that ultimately you believe belongs to you. Could be a position on the job, maybe a position in ministry, maybe the boss gave your assignment or your job to somebody else and it was really for you. And, it could be relationships. Your husband might be seeing another woman and giving his affections to her instead of to you, and you're his wife. You would become jealous at that point, okay? Sometimes it's children. You might have a father who's encouraging and giving his affections to someone else's child instead of his own children. So these kinds of things come up. And when they come up, we become jealous. This can also come from a place of dissatisfaction, because when we go through these kind of things, our jealousy would make us do crazy things out of our anger and rage. The Old Testament scripture, Proverbs 14:30 says, "A sound heart is the life of the flesh, but envy the rottenness of the bones." That is so interesting. Envy actually rottens the bones. That's what the scripture says here. In the NIV, it says, envy rots the bones. In the Amplified Version, it says, envy, jealousy, and wrath are like rottenness to the bones. That word, sound heart, literally means a heart of health, a healthy heart, which all the emotions and the appetites are in a healthy, stable place. Rottenness to the bones is the contrast. This contrast is the envy, which eats like a consuming disease into the very bones and marrow of a moral man's life. Dr. Don Colbert, in his book, Those Deadly Emotions, he speaks how the body is compromised by our emotions and how we allow our feelings to govern our lives, and it affects our health. A heart free of envy and anger and every faulty affection towards one's neighbor relieves the body of a great source of many diseases, for it produces joy and peace, flowing from a good conscience, and is attended with the blessing of God. Let's go to the New Testament. James chapter 3 and verses 13 through 16, and we'll read it in the King James Version, but I'm going to start at verse 14 that says, "But if ye have bitter envying and strife, selfish ambition in your hearts, glory not and not lie against the truth." That's not the wisdom from above. This wisdom descendeth not from above, but is earthly, sensual, and devilish. For where envy and strife and self-ambition is, there is confusion and every evil work. A lot of times when there's a lot of confusion and a whole lot of evil working, check it out and see. Could there be some envy and some strife, some selfish ambition coming forward? Check yourself, because this technically doesn't have to do with the other person. It has to do with our dissatisfaction. Always remember that. It's not the other person's new outfit. It's our dissatisfaction as to where we are, that we don't have outfits at this time. Matthew Henry says, envying and strife are opposed to the meekness of wisdom. The heart is the seat of both, but envy and wisdom cannot dwell together in the same heart. So what's the plan? Agree with God concerning your present situation, whatever it is, so that you're not prone to envy and strife. Because weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. Where there is jealousy, pray and ask God to let him know what his plan is through his word for you at that particular time. Because you see, if you don't pray and ask God to help you, you might key the car. You might quit the job, or you may do something that you'll later on regret, because anger belongeth in the bosom of a fool. The Lord bless your endeavors. I'm praying for you.